Hello everyone, welcome back to your channel once again. So today in this video we'll be looking at IP addresses. So as we've learned from previous videos, the internet protocol addresses, which is shortened as IP addresses, is the heart of the TCP/IP model which actually the internet runs on. So what is this internet protocol addresses? They are numbers that are assigned to devices connected on a network. What basically these numbers do is they identify your device on the network. It is through the IP addresses that your device is able to send and receive packets of data. So without these addresses, it is practically impossible for communication to happen. Devices on a network do not identify each other by their names as we know them. They identify each other with these IP addresses. So which is what makes it possible for every device on a network, from the routers to our smartphones, our laptop, IoT devices, web servers and everything. This is what makes it possible for them to receive and also send data packets through the network. So now that we know what these IP addresses are, let's take a second to talk about the different types of IP addresses. So firstly, we have the IPv4 addresses, which is IP version 4 addresses, and also the IP version 6 addresses. So an IP version 4 address is typically a 32-bit number grouped into 4 portions called the octets, and they are separated by the dots in their notations. Now, IP version 4 addresses were typically expected to carry around 4 billion devices, and this was way back in the 90s when it was first introduced. But now, with the massive growth of the internet and technology in general, we have so much devices that these 4 billion addresses have practically run out, and so the IP version 6 address was introduced to tackle the problem of the shortage of IP addresses. So IP version 6 on the other hand is a 128-bit number. So compared to the IP version 4, which is 32-bit, the IP version 6 has a very huge capacity, and it is approximated to be able to cater for this number of devices. Another classifications of IP addresses is grouping them into either a public IP address or a private IP address. A public IP address is what basically makes it possible for a device to communicate on a wide area network like the internet. These public IP addresses, as the name indicates, is used for public communication by devices on the wide area network. So when a device is connected directly to the internet, you are most certainly going to have a public IP address. These public IP addresses come with some privacy implications, as they can reveal the real-time location of a device connected to the internet. Private IP addresses, on the other hand, are assigned to devices connected within a local area network or a private network. So typically, devices in a local area network with a router as a gateway would have private IP addresses, and they would all share one public IP address, which is the IP address of the gateway or the router in this case. And this is what they would use for public communication. So their data packets are going to be routed to the router, and then the router now takes it to the public internet. This process is made possible and easier with the help of NAT, which is the Network Address Translation Protocol, which translates the private IP addresses of devices connected to the network. So a device within a local area network would basically send data packets to another device on maybe the internet with its private IP address, but it is a Network Address Translation Protocol that will translate that IP address into the public IP address of the router to be able to allow the device to have an outside communication, because without the public IP address, the device cannot communicate on the internet. So that is basically the role of the Network Address Translation Protocol. Based on how IP addresses are allocated to devices, we can also group them into either dynamic IP addresses or static IP addresses. When we first connect our devices to a network, a service called the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol allocates IP address to our device, and this is most often done on a lease. Because this is dynamic and kind of automatic, it makes the whole connection process very effortless and seamless. On the other hand, there is a static IP address, which is entered manually into a configuration setup and given to devices. There are also other special IP addresses like the loopback address, which most devices have and is used for intra-communication, which is communication within the same device. It is mostly used for testing and communications within local applications on same device. There is also the broadcast address, which is used by a device on the network to broadcast or to basically send data packets to every single device on the network. Hence the name, the broadcast. There is also the default gateway, which in a local area network would be the IP address of the router. So this is a quick overview of IP addresses. Now when we see these numbers in our device settings, we know they are not just ordinary numbers, but they are actually how our devices are being located on the network. If you learned something from this video, please consider liking the video, sharing it, and also subscribing to the channel so you'll be updated on the release of subsequent videos at first hand. A very big thanks for watching this video, and see you in the next one.